Welcome to the MBU Football Coaches Show. My name is Guy Danforth here with Coach B. Coach, you traveled to Marshall, Missouri to take on Missouri Valley, and they got a big win, first conference win of the year, 9-7. I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about that game, because while it was a defensive battle, but nevertheless, we came out victorious. And tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, couldn't be more proud of our guys of just how resilient and persistent they were through the course of the game. You know, one of the things we talked about all week is that we've got to work together. We got to work in the same direction because when we play and we execute at a high level, we're a pretty good football team. And we just haven't hit on all cylinders. I still don't think we have. Obviously, offense did a lot of good stuff, but didn't score a touchdown. And defensively, we've kind of been all over the place this year. But I felt like the one thing we did is we really played as a team, and it was a team win. It took offense, defense, special teams, all in coordination, and couldn't be more proud. And like you said, we come out of there with a win. There's not very often are you going to be able to say that you lose the turnover battle, don't score an offensive touchdown, and still win a game. But that's what we were able to pull off.
Well, Coach, speaking certainly as a team game, special teams, this just came in, honestly. This is some breaking news that was just released by the Heart Association. That is, your field goal kicker went 3 for 3 with the big 52-yarder for his first kick of the game. And maybe if you could speak to a little bit about, Ian Zohner's perfect on the season, but what did it mean on Saturday getting those 3 for 3 kicks?
Well, it obviously is the difference between winning and losing it. He's been really consistent. The whole operation, Cade Martin is our long snapper and short snapper on field goals, and then Jaden George does the punting, but then is also our holder, and they have a really good operation. They trust each other. I think Coach Hightower has done a tremendous job making sure that the line is blocking well. And then Coach Simon, our special teams kicking coach, has done a really good job. And I was talking to the staff about this morning is, having Coach Simon on staff this year, something we've never really had, has made a world of difference. And, I think just the fact that those guys have somebody to kind of work with them throughout the course of practice, give them feedback of when they're not striking the ball right or what they could do, with their plant foot, that's stuff that we've not always had. And so having that has been great for all of our kickers. And Ian's done a great job. All of our kickers have done a great job all year.
Well, it's pretty amazing. He is a freshman, and Ian kicked a 52-yarder for his first field goal, and that was second best in team history, with O'Dane Reed having the best field goal at 53 yards, just by 1 yard difference. So talking about how well you play, let's talk about your running game. I want to talk about that because Lionel Banks put on a show, 130 yards and 24 carries, even though he did not have a touchdown. Speak to his performance, because he looked like a bruiser, a bull.
Yeah, well, Lionel, that's who Lionel is. I think the biggest thing that Lionel, and we've talked about it numerous times, is just the state of backs that we have, with Calvin and Lionel being two tremendous running backs. We've got other guys waiting in the wings. Jared Stewart is a running back by trade, but we've been using him a little bit more in the pass game just to get him on the field. But, Calvin's been a little bit dinged up, and it was Lionel's opportunity, and he took advantage of it, which, as a guy who's a senior captain, that's what you expect.
Right.
A guy who has taken advantage of all the reps he's got, and then when it was his time, to really carry the load. He's been in that position before. Honestly, he wants that, and all of them do. But he did a great job in the offensive line for as bruised and battered as we are, with some guys dinged up and, losing some guys early a few weeks ago. They did a tremendous job opening holes for him, and couldn't have been more important than in that last 4-minute drive.
Well, let's go to the defensive side. And for the first 3 quarters, you were pitching a shutout, and you held them to only 266 yards. And I was wondering if you could talk about how you were able to do it, because it was their homecoming. So I can only imagine the environment must have been pretty loud and raucous. But talk to us about how you were able to hold them down.
Well, I mean, we actually didn't hold them three-quarter scoreless. They scored on their first drive, but it wasn't until the second quarter. There was the first quarter flew by with
Right.
Us having one possession and then them going on a 16-play drive themselves. But I think at the end of the day, defensively, guys just really relied on each other. They communicated well. They trusted each other to be where they were supposed to be, and I thought for the first time in a while, we were able to really control the line of scrimmage,
Yeah.
and we were able to stop the run. I think they finished with 80 yards total offense, and um, that's just a big deal when they wanna run the ball and, our secondary and coverage was pretty good. We were getting coverage sacks, so, all of those kinda played hand in hand, but they did a great job and, just kept coming back to the bench, being positive, and I think the message I told them at, the beginning of the 4th quarter was, I didn't care if, we had to score, didn't matter, we were gonna win the game.
Right.
Our job is to get the ball back for the offense, and they did that consistently.
So, Coach, one of the things I want to talk about, let you highlight to me the play of the game was 4th and inches. They call a timeout, and lo and behold, what do? They run a wildcat with their running back, which means most likely tendency is you're running between the tackles because, and it's got to make it easier. And you said on last week's show, if you're going to win this game, you had to dominate the gaps. And sure, you guys certainly did on that A gap because you tried to run right between the center and tackle. Talk about that play because I thought that was outstanding with 4th and inches, the game on the line late in the 4th quarter. Spartans prevail.
Yeah, that was such a huge play, of that game, obviously, and, we've got a 2-point lead, and, I wanna rewind to the play before when, we brought a blitz and the guy got loose, but, Jalen Williamson and Herman Burks came over and tackled the guy just short
Right.
at the 1 when,
Right.
really that was a man cover situation where that guy easily coulda walked in and, put the offense in a tough spot, but, they come off, make a great tackle, get him at the 1-yard line, and we had shown them that exact play. We'd shown them the Wildcat. They do a lot of different stuff on the goal line, but we had prepared them for that,
Yeah.
and so that entire timeout, I really give a lot of credit to, the guys in the huddle because they were the ones that are like, "Hey, listen, we've gotta play with great pad level. We gotta make sure that we have everything covered," and they were the ones doing a lot of talking. We knew what the call was, and, we had an idea that they were gonna just try and run it.
Yeah.
We told them, "Be ready for Wildcat, be ready for these certain things," and, they executed that just perfectly.
Yeah, I know when you guys stopped him, I got out of my chair. I was like fist pumping all over. I was. I'm sure you guys were
Oh,
on the sideline, but
yeah.
it was certainly a great moment to certainly see, and that was just so awesome. So now that you have this behind you, we got our first win in the Hearts. Spartans are now 2-5 overall, but 1-2 in the Heart this week. You got coming back home, Baker University. They are 4-3, but 4-0 in the Heart. I mean, they come out kind of nowhere by being perfect in conference play. And they're also on a 4-game winning streak. They just beat Central Methodist 42-3. And they're now receiving votes. And my guess is this week that they're probably going to be ranked.
Yeah, they very well could be. I think Baker's is a school that is like so many Hart schools. They're very well coached. They've got really tough players. They're a little bit like us in the sense that they don't have these massive guys, but they play extremely hard, and they're very physical at the point of attack. So that's something that we know we've got to continue to be. If we can win the line of scrimmage this week, that'll really be saying something, and it's something that we've got to do to be successful in this game. Their quarterback is a former all-conference guy. He got hurt early in the game that we played a year ago,
Yeah.
in the last game. But, defensively, we played them tough, and they're going to make you earn it offensively. So, we've got to be detailed in what we do and, just continue to take advantage and take the next step. But it's another good opponent.
Absolutely. Well, you're going to have to deal with one of the most explosive receivers in Adrian Seals, who has 34 receptions, 561 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Also, their defense is pretty impressive, forcing all kinds of turnovers and recording 11 interceptions as a team. Anything else you want to talk about that you've seen on film?
No, I mean, we're pretty new into the film this week, as we're filming it on Monday, but, just that they hang their hat on defense. They play really good defense. Like you said, they've got a good receiver. They got a really good quarterback who's, very accurate with the ball. So we've got a good test ahead of us, but if we just continue to rely on each other and do what we're supposed to do, execute at a high level, we know it's going to be a great game.
Well, we know last year Spartans went on the road, and that was a 16-8 game. You guys actually, I believe, had the ball up for like 4.5 minutes to play. I know the drive stalled out, but nevertheless, a very close game a year ago. Now they're coming here. And so, Coach, with them coming back home, what do you want to tell the Spartan fans? Because we now know it's chilly weather.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think you'll probably see a lot of chili going on, some tailgating. But what's the big message is now the team comes back home for 2 games?
Well, just we got 2 games left, and, we always appreciate their support. We appreciate them coming out and, making this a tough place to play, making it a great home environment for our athletes, and, we're coming off that win, so we can go capitalize on it, and, between this week and next week, there's 2 opportunities to come out and, show this team, a lot of support, and we appreciate everything they've done so far.
All right, Coach. Well, Spartan fans, here it is. We'll see you this Saturday here as the Spartans return home to face Baker University. Kickoff is set for 1 p.m. at Spartan Field. For Coach B, I'm Guy Danoff. We want to thank you for watching it here on the Spartan Digital Network.